year. In this video, you'll hear about the third mistake and how to correct it. The third mistake is that agents don't make lead generation their one thing. The one thing is a concept that Gary Keller explained in length in the book, The One Thing. If you haven't read it, I highly urge you to get a copy of it and read it this summer. It has helped me tremendously in my business, which is now on pace to pull in more than $60 million in annual revenues. Essentially, your one thing is your top priority, your main focus. So you need to make lead generation your one thing. Here are the 5 keys to making lead generation your one thing. First, whatever matters most, in this case lead generation, you must focus on. In our world, it's all about value proposition and lead generation. You succeed at lead generation by time blocking. A few important things about time blocking. Time block your vacation time and time off at the beginning of the year. Successful people do this because they know they deserve it and can afford it. Average people don't block their time off because they often think they can't afford it or don't deserve it. Time is not what determines your success. Everyone has the same amount of time. It's what you do with your time. Time block your one thing, your lead generation. Set aside or block out at least 2 hours per day on at least 5 to 6 days per week. If something comes up and you miss the scheduled time, set aside a new time to replace that missed time. Don't skip it and forget it. And time block your planning time. Planning is a critical part of success, so set aside and then actually take the time to do it. Gary likes to say time on the task over time beats talent and intelligence every time. I truly believe this philosophy and have seen it play out in sports and business for years. Remember, success comes from focus and repetition, not intelligence or common sense. Highly successful people across every industry make their one thing happen each and every day. Time blocking leads to success, period. Okay, the second key to making your lead generation your one thing is learning the language of sales. That means scripts and dialogue. A lot of people have trouble with this one. Words are the tools of our industry and we want to use the best tools. Scripts help you express what matters in words that have proven to be economical and effective. Scripts allow you to listen because you're prepared. Listening is imperative to the sales process, but it's sadly underrated and usually not done very well. Good scripts and dialects have 5 components. Number 1, they explain your value proposition and services. Number 2, they ask discovery questions. Number 3, they handle objections. And number 4, they allow for negotiations. And number 5, they ask for referrals. Memorize, internalize, and customize your scripts. By internalize, Gary means you have to really understand them and make them sound natural. The third key to making lead generation your one thing is mastering the rule of 5. Keller Williams surveyed their top agents. 80% of the top agents get 90% of their business from just 5 lead sources. Those top 5 agents are really good at focusing on the few things that matter and mastering them. They aren't constantly chasing the newest shiny object. What you have to do is figure out which 5 things you need to master. What do those 5 things bring you the most revenue? Your success will be directly correlated to how long it takes you to master the 5 sources you select. The fourth key to making lead generation your one thing is building a value ladder. In order to build a value ladder, you first make contact with the people and get their permission to market to them. Put another way, you get their consent to continue a conversation with them. Once you have their permission to keep talking, make them feel like they are part of something special. Don't jump straight to persuading them to become a client right away. Build an inclusive relationship first and provide value. A good test of whether or not you're doing a good job there is to ask yourself, would someone be willing to pay $1 for this newsletter or whatever it is I'm sending? Provide value and it will be very tough for someone else to come along and disrupt your business. We all know the industry is constantly changing. Those agents who have a database full of people who feel like they're members of a special club are less fearful of what the future brings because they have a following. They have a group of people who feel like they're getting value, which makes them unlikely to leave. When, down the road, you do convert someone into a client, you'll give them such great value that then they'll refer you more business. And the last key to track your results, the last key is to track your results. If you don't track, you don't know which sources are good and which are not so good. Track your leads and sources. Always ask people how they heard about you. Track cost per lead and return on investment. You do this by calculating how much money did it produce, less what expense it took to produce it, divided by the expense to produce it. That answers the question, how much am I getting back on the money I'm spending? Gary mentioned that ROI in internet leads continues to erode. Hopefully, you find the information in this video helpful. Please stay tuned for future videos where I'll share the remaining 7 mistakes you might be making that are preventing you from earning $1 million a year. And if you're not already getting our emails delivered to your inbox, please fill out the form on this page and I'll add you in. I promise to only send you valuable information that will help you grow your business.